Oh boy, Susan Bratton. We had her on talking about sexual vitality on a past show. This topic, libido. Wait till you see the things that she shows. You'll see me get embarrassed at least one time in the show. But I'm going to say, this show was directed at people that have libido issues, mostly related to health issues, but this show's for everybody. And I'm telling you that the tips that she gives, the links to products, the links to the biohacks that work for this condition, there are a lot in this show. So that means there's a lot of answers. And you'll see, you're going to want your spouse to watch this show with you. So you might want to watch it with he or her first. Or maybe yourself the first before you share it. But no, I think this is going to be a show that you're going to probably share more than most. So check it out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cellular Healing TV. I'm Ashley Smith, and today we welcome back the lovely Susan Bratton, who you may remember from episode 287. Susan is a world-class expert in ageless intimacy. We just had to have her back because we had so much fun and there are so many concepts we wanted to continue to explore together. Susan is an expert in detoxing for sexual vitality, supporting your libido with nutrients and botanicals, and sexual biohacking. This will be nothing short of lively and fun. So let's get started and welcome Susan Bratton and, of course, Dr. Pompa to the show. Welcome, both of you.
Greetings. It is
Yes.
very nice to see and to be with you again.
Oh, she is back, folks. And that's not just a sunset coming over her head. That's just the way she is every day. Trust me. Oh gosh, I can't wait for this episode. We had to have you back after the last one. We'll put the link here to the last show where we got dicey with the whole sexual vitality conversation. I think some of that will shock you. But today's conversation is specifically about what we promised, libido. This is a huge problem. And, my audience is people who are looking to get their health back, right? So I have a lot of health challenged people that follow me. And I would say a huge percentage of them, hey, libido's gone, right? Okay, so, I talk a lot about getting to the upstream issue. But the question I get often, Susan, is, yeah, okay, great, but what can I do in the meantime? Because as we know, you're the expert, or should I call you the sexpert, which you don't like that. You're far beyond that. You're way more than that. But as you know, this can be disruptive, to relationships. So I think this show is really important because if we can give you some breakthroughs, which Susan has some really amazing stuff, right? I mean, this is cutting edge stuff that you may have heard about, and she'll take you to the next level on it. And I promise you stuff you probably haven't. Okay. What is libido? Because maybe it's not what we think, Susan.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dr. Pompa, so much again for having me. And I really want to talk about libido and define it because I like to define it as a comparison to other things. I like to think about there being a stack of your human experience. One thing is your libido, and then there's your desire, and then there's arousal. And libido is your life force. It's your lust for life. It's what powers your creativity. It's what powers your enthusiasm. It also powers your appetite for your sexuality. And so when you are health challenged, which we all are at various times, and some of us more than others, we find that diminishes our libido because our bodies, being these little mitochondrial batteries, our battery's on low. So it doesn't have enough bandwidth, it doesn't have enough juice to also feel like it wants to be intimate. Right. And I know that people who are health challenged carry a lot of guilty feelings, a lot of shame, because they feel like, I should want my partner. I should want sex. I wish I wanted to have sex, but I don't. And I feel bad, like I'm letting them down. We end up getting depressed and beating ourselves up for it, or feeling anxious because we know we're letting our partner down. At the end of the day, everybody wants to feel love, connection, touch, holding, sensuality. And one of the things that I can tell you is that when you don't feel well, often what's happened is you're starting to beat yourself up because you're not having sex, like penis in vagina intercourse, you know, and you
Right.
think about sex as that. And that's the biggest goal. You have to pull yourself back and say, well, I might not desire that right now, but I might desire being held or holding my partner, a full body massage, a nice head rub, maybe, just some erotic pleasuring with no goal in mind.
Well,
Because
it takes the pressure off. If there's no goal in mind, takes the pressure off,
Yeah.
and it may lead to arousal,
Yeah.
possibly.
And you said that beautifully, Dan, because if you think about libido is how your body is feeling and whether or not you're feeling horny, you're feeling frisky, right? You've got a little lust, you want sex. That's the body, and that's a measure of your health. And that includes your gut biome and your hormones and the things we talked about a lot on the last show.
You know, and even let me speak from now a
Sure.
sick person, you know, who is now healthy, right? Okay. I can tell you that, you know, what you're saying, there is truth to, because I would say when you're sick, you're focused on yourself. But there were times that once I got in the motion, then it would be much better, right?
Yes.
Now, okay. So even now as a healthy person, I can tell you that there's many times where it's not on my mind. I'm busy, this and that. But, you know, once some of the things that you mentioned start, then, you know, okay, I didn't even realize that, you know, I was actually wanting to do this, and here I am. So, you know, you're right. I mean, you know, you can't just all of a sudden, you know, want sex, right? You know, my wife reminds me that sex starts in the kitchen. I still don't understand what that means, man. It's never happened yet in the kitchen. Okay, that's me. It doesn't start there. What is she? I know what she means by that. I'm just playing. But anyway, to your point, I think that, you know, you have to start with some of those things you're mentioning.
And you know you're feeling better, you know you're getting better, you know your healing's working when you're starting to have little fantasies, or you're even thinking about sexuality, or even thinking about being held and touched and interacting. You know, those are all ways you can notice that you're coming back to health. So you've got libido, that's your body. Then you've got desire, and desire is really the headspace. That is, I'm not upset with my partner, you know, or I am. I like them. I feel good about myself. I feel like a sexual person, because many people have body image issues, or, you know, they've suffered surgeries of various kinds that make them feel less desirable. So there's desire, which is another component of it. And that's your headspace. And then arousal is what you were really talking about, Dr. Pompa, which is you didn't know you were in the mood till you started down the path. And that's why when you have an understanding of the difference between the masculine and feminine, very, very important. The masculine is generally testosterone dominant. The female is generally estrogen forward. And so he is more often ready to go, and he is naturally more goal oriented and looking at the final sex, penis and vagina intercourse, where she's estrogen is, it has its eye on everything. It's not ready. It's not the initiator. It's the responder. It's the receiver. And so estrogen wants testosterone to sweep her away into pleasure. But she doesn't want the pressure and the performance anxiety of guaranteeing it will lead to sex. So the solution for couples who have any kind of libido mismatch, where they don't both want it about the same, which is 99.9% of all people, you know, is people are, you know, somebody wants it and somebody's like, I don't know, maybe you could talk me into it, you know? Can we start with a foot rub? I think for the large swath, you can generalize to say that the masculine is often more ready to go than the feminine. And so she needs to be warmed up, to be held, to be emotionally connected, to make sure everything is set and good and she can relax. And she wants
such work you women are.
But it's not work. See, it's joy. joy. It's
I'm joking. Right now the women are
pleasure.
typing their hate mail to me. Yeah, but I'm just laughing. I am sitting here with a smile on my face because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, men were like, it's almost embarrassing. Actually, it's like, let's just get right after it. It's like, we're looking to that end goal, and here you are describing estrogen wanting this process and leading me to, and us men are going, oh my God. Okay. All right. So, we have to change that obviously a little bit.
Well, one thing I found is that when men understand what women need, they want to give it to her. What they want is to give her incredible pleasure, and they actually don't really feel like it's work, but women are afraid to ask for it. So a part of what I like to do is I like to let women know that it's okay to ask for what you need, because your arousal pattern is much slower than his. And so the advice that I give men is, here's what she needs from you. Number one, good grooming. Nobody likes a dirty bird. Number two, emotional connection and presence.
Man, did you hear that? Good grooming. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, should we define that a little bit better? Because everyone's like, what do you mean? I shower, I mean, does there needed to be a little more definition around that?
Well, I have so many things I want to talk about that I'll leave your grooming conditions up to you as an individual, but good grooming, emotional connections and presence, not going for a goal, not trying to make me have a good experience, but being with me in the experience. And then slowing yourself down, throttle yourself back, boys, and drop in to a connection with your woman that is co-creation of pleasure, and stop thinking about the end game, and you'll net more sex when you give up your goal. That's the thing that for many men, when they say, my wife, she went through the menopause and she doesn't want sex anymore. And I'm like, well, I got to tell you the truth. Your wife is using her menopause as an excuse for not wanting to have sex with you anymore because it wasn't good enough for her to fight for her sex life. So let me teach you a few skills where you can actually get your wife to want you for sex again.
The men
maybe
just
even
heard that,
initiate.
or like, the men are just going to now be like, aha, see, it's not a real excuse anymore. But there was another side to that. There was another side to that.
Yeah. But that's a separate show too, because I really want to get into sexual biohacking, what happens as you age, because if you're listening or watching this interview with Dan and I, you care about your sexuality. You're one of those people who didn't give it up.
And you should. By the way,
want to know.
Absolutely. This affects your health, right? I mean, orgasms actually make you hormonally healthier. Definitely. Relationships, touch makes you more hormonally healthier, So, I mean, all of this applies to your health, but yet your health applies to this topic, right? So I want to let you go on, but, I do want to, remind you that many people watching this, they're sick, they're toxic, they have hormone challenges, and that alone can affect their libido. Is this still going to all work?
I think that hormones get too much credit for their contribution to people's libido.
All right, good.
And so if you are thinking in your mind, right, I'm sick and my hormones are whacked, and that's why I don't want sex, I can tell you that that's not actually the reason.
All right, great. That's what I was hoping you would say. So I want everyone to hear that, because I knew that people were thinking that. And so, right, let's put that behind us.
What if it's not your hormones? What else could it be? Let's explore.
That's right. All right, good. This is good. All right, we're just heading in the right direction. Okay, what do we do?
Right. So the very first thing that you do is remember what I just said, which was your libido is your health. It's two sides of the same coin. So you're working on your health, and the better you feel, the more it turned up, the more you're going to want sex. So that's one thing. Notice how as you get better, you feel more sexy. Number one, witness your healing. Number two, make sure that there's nothing between you and your partner or yourself that's holding you back from your desire. Check in on that. Number three, make sure that you're not rushing yourself and that you're actually thinking about your sex life as co-creation of sensual pleasure, not penis in vagina intercourse, because that's too big a goal, especially when you don't feel well. So baby steps. This is about baby steps. Get a foot rub. That's sex too.
Number two, though, there's maybe some complicating factors there. Making sure there's nothing between you and your spouse, right? I mean, that can be a brick wall that's built, and you don't even acknowledge anymore. So I mean, that right there could be the dang sticking point. What do you say to that? Any advice around that one?
What I think is important for you as you're listening to Dr. Pompa and I on this particular conversation is for you to just be open right now and taking in everything that we're saying and looking for the places in your own life where you see the little warning flags so that you can know, oh, okay, actually, I love my husband. I just don't feel that well. But actually, I did notice that yeah, if we just slow down and, I've got this pain and she just told me what I could do to fix that. So we're going to get into that next, right? Okay. So, and then I'm going to tell you about what supplementation supports libido and why, because it also isn't what you think. Right. A lot of, just like hormones aren't the reason why your libido is crap, right? They're a very small part of it. So, and here's where they are the part of it. Let's just discuss that for a second.
Right.
Because I want to go into what goes wrong with the female body and what goes wrong with the male body and how you can use sexual biohacking to solve those problems. So
that's where we want to go.
Let's do ladies first, shall we, Dan?
Yep.
Okay. So the very first thing is that since you've been thinking about hormones, make sure that if you are doing bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, you consider that if you have low orgasmic response, like you're not feeling your orgasms as well as you used to, or you're struggling to achieve a climax, that testosterone cream compounded in shea butter rubbed on the clitoral structure, on your vulva, on the clitoral structure, works very well to improve the loss of sensation that you get as you age. Another thing that works very well for that are what are called O shots or orgasm shots, which are PRP, platelet-rich plasma, spun down and put into the clitoral structure, which is a spongy structure because it's full of erectile tissue. And so that can actually rebuild your tissue, and it can help with incontinence and with laxity because it can improve the musculature in the pelvic bowl. So PRP, and then if you're super rich and you want to just throw as much as you can at your yoni being another word for the female genitals, a sweet word, YONI, you can do stem cells. If you put some mesenchymal stem cells in your clitoral structure,
which can come out of your own hip. But
you can get them out of your iliac crest.
Yeah, I mean, the PRP is a simple treatment. It is take your blood, spin it down, and what's left is the PRP, and that injection. And it sounds worse than it is. I know, people that have had it done. My wife has not.
I've had it 4 times.
Exactly. And, but, I've interviewed Harry Adelson on the show. He does that in his clinic. We can put the link to the show.
Yeah, with Amy. Dr. Amy Killen does it.
Dr. Amy Killen, right, who we've interviewed. So, we'll link those shows. But it is a simple procedure, but effective, would you say?
Super effective. I had my first O shot when I was 54. And I didn't notice that much, but I was also dealing with a lot of, and here's the other issue. So I'm advancing the conversation here. Vaginal atrophy, laxity. What happens as we age is that we get sarcopenia, muscle and tissue loss. Our growth hormone declines with all the rest of our hormones. And so we're not holding on to the tissue we used to have. That's why you could work out harder and you don't get any bigger. It's the same thing with the tissue in the genital area, both for the masculine and feminine. You lose tissue and you lose sensation, and you also have diminished blood flow. And when you have diminished blood flow, which we're going to talk about with supplements, blood flow is very, very important to keep your vasodilation nitric oxide fuel tanked up. I'm going to talk a lot about why that's been the missing link for your pleasure and lubrication and for your tightness in that musculature. So when women
you did that very aggressively, I might add, that tightness in the
right, because when you can't get a good grip on a penis with your vaginal tissue, you can't experience.
It was that when you said grip on, it was the hands.
You knew it, right?
That us men kind of went, oh my God, okay, but it was the vaginal.
Yeah, okay, you've got that nice grip on his penis, and that gives you more orgasmic pleasure for orgasm from intercourse. When women don't have the ability to have those nice strong contractions and that grip, when it's just kind of when their vagina is literally flaccid or lax. It's from the tissue in the vagina, which is called vaginal mucosa. It actually begins to shrink, just like your bicep shrinks when you stop going to the gym.
Right.
Your tissue shrinks as you age, as blood flow declines, as your hormones decline. So what happens is your vagina becomes more open. So you get a big floppy patty. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And your male-bodied partner, as he ages, his penis starts to shrink. He's atrophying and the tissue's getting smaller. And so he's getting a smaller
Oh my God,
penis.
is there good news right now? You got to bring us good news.
No, this is the stinkiest part of sexual aging is you're bigger and he's smaller and you can't feel a darn thing, which is why you want to get the grip back, right?
Gosh. Oh,
but you
man.
can.
Well,
So
you know, my friend Ben Greenfield has had his penis injected several times, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so the point I'm making is the PRP and the stem cells goes the other way as well. So
yeah, I'm going to talk about penises in just a second. I've got some things to show you.
I just couldn't help it.
Yeah, please, let's talk about penises as much as you want. I'm a penis expert.
Well, not yet, because you have to show the infrared treatment, which you're going to talk about, which is in your hand.
That is what I'm doing right now. We're not going to penises yet.
It looks like we are, but we're not.
This is a VFit, and you can get this at VFit. It's at joylux.com. It's an red light therapy. It vibrates. You can hear the vibration, and it's warm. It's warming.
Okay, it's sounding a little sexual, but it's truly a treatment. I promise you.
No, this is a do-it-yourself, at-home, FDA certified medical device for vaginal rejuvenation. And before the VFit, you had to go get your vaginal mucosa lasered or burned with RF devices to regenerate the mucosal tissue that's thinning with age. Now, I love this product because the VFit is, you don't have to go to an office. You don't have to get burned. You don't have to get wounded. This is a non-wounding vaginal restoration device. It rebuilds the collagen with the heat. It stimulates the vaginal mucosal mitochondria with the red light. And the vibration helps with it's basically doing Kegels for you to increase that pelvic muscle.
And do we have a link that we can put up? Okay. Good.
Yeah, I'll give you one. I actually have a link where, because I'm kind of a spokesperson for them, because I love them so much, I chased them down for over a year. I was like, I want to tell the world about this product. And they gave me a little special page where you get a free bottle of their vaginal replenishment product that goes with it. So it saves you some money, which is nice.
My only fear, and I'll speak this for all the men watching, is, that thing's glowing, it's vibrating, it's all this. Guys, they may not even need us anymore. I mean, look at this thing. How do we compete?
This doesn't give you orgasms.
No, I'm joking. It just was so magical and it was glowing, and here we are. And it's like all of a sudden us men were feeling inferior to this. No, I get it. It's a device.
You want to buy this for your wife or girlfriend as a gift, because when she uses this for 8 weeks, every other day, she's going to have the most luscious vaginal mucosa, and she's going to be turned on and desire sex in a way she hasn't for a while, because it gets everything going again. It really turns back the clock, which is what sexual biohacking is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel 35 instead of 55 or 65 or 75. And that's what I love about this. You don't have to go get a treatment. You can do this at home. So this is my favorite product of.
And does it come with the actual protocol? Do you have to do it every day? How long?
It's every other day. It's a 12-minute protocol every other day for 8 weeks. And then you can go on maintenance mode, or you can see how you do. And a lot of women get it, like my girlfriend got it, and she did it every day, full on, right out of the box, because she's like, I can take it. And she's like, that thing hurt. I did a little bit too much. I was a little sensitive from that. I was like, well, did you follow the directions? And she said, no. So follow the directions. Listen to your mother, right? This works. Be careful. It's an FDA approved device. And I think it's like $500. It's affordable. I got one laser treatment sets you back $1,500 because you got to go for a series,
Yeah, right.
So that I think is important. But then the other thing that I think is also important is just making sure that you are self-pleasuring if you don't feel well. Whenever you feel well, self-pleasuring and using something that is going to stimulate not just the external vulva and the clitoral structure that's showing, but is going to go inside the vaginal area. Because what happens for a lot of women is, a girlfriend of mine just emailed me and she said, I feel like my vaginal opening is almost fused shut. And I have a new boyfriend and lubrication's not my issue. It's accommodation. What do I do? And for a lot of women, they let it go so long that they have to then do a lot of remediation, where it's much better if you're using a product that is, this particular product from Fun Factory is a thruster. So
all right, this is the place in the show where I get a little embarrassed. Okay, good.
This is self-care. This is sexual self-care. Please don't be embarrassed. Am I embarrassing you?
No. Yeah, okay, you're fine. It was when the device started shaking. Yeah,
this uses a little a rocker magnet, and so it actually does a very nice thrusting that is very good intravaginally. You want to keep that vaginal mucosa and the insides of the clitoral and urethral and perineal structures of erectile tissue stimulated. And if you're only focused on an external stimulation, you're missing 95% of what keeps you healthy, young, feel good, in orgasmic intensity. So having some kind of G area or urethral sponge or a pulsator of some kind. These are from Fun Factory. They make non-toxic toys. You want to be very careful not to.
You took one of my questions right there. I was going to nail you with that. Like, could be a toxic component to that.
Zero toxins. These are super high quality Fun Factory. And when I get to the men's products, I'm going to show you a few super high quality non-toxic men's products that are also very good. So
told you this would be a fun show, folks, and informative and healing.
Yes. Yeah. We're responsible for our own bodies and keeping them young. So, we talked about the PRP, we talked about the VFit, we talked about the Fun Factory thrusters, pulsators, and G-spotters. Those are all really, really good things. We talked about the testosterone cream. And then the other thing that I think is really, really important is getting enough good quality fats in your system.
Oh, I preach a lot of that. That's for sure.
I know you do. And that comment is not only welcomed on your show, but understood. And so I don't need to go into great detail on it, but having both cod liver oil, if you can get the kind of the flavored strawberry or orange or what have you, big scoop of that.
I'm a big fan of just eating cod livers, and you can buy them online at different things. I mean, honestly, because a lot of the cod liver oil is rancid. But anyway, so fats.
Yep. Healthy fats, including vitamin E, mixed tocopherols are very important as well in combination with the DHA and the EPA and those kinds of things. So the fats really help keep everything lubricated. So does hyaluronic acid. That's also very good for lubrication, which women find that as they age, one of the reasons their vaginal mucosa becomes delicate, fragile, difficult, painful sex. It's not always lack of estrogen. That is a contributing factor, but often for women who they're managing their estrogen and they're still having, vaginal pain with sex, just up your fats and your nitric oxide, which I'll talk about in a bit. Your vagina doesn't have glands that lubricate. The way your vagina gets lubricated is through the seepage from your blood plasma. Your body recruits the fluid from your blood plasma, and it comes through all the epithelial layers, the endothelial layers of your vaginal mucosa, and seeps into the wall, and that's where your lubrication comes from. So you have to be hydrated and have a lot of healthy fats and have good vasodilation blood flow. That's also what keeps your pelvic musculature in good shape and reduces urinary tract infections and bladder infections. Women who have chronic UTIs, they're often low in nitric oxide. So it's very simple stuff that the doctors generally don't tell you about. So that's the female. Now the male, he's shriveling. He's got shrinkage. This is his problem. And his second problem is that he is having diminished blood flow due to atherosclerosis. His blood vessels are lined with fats from eating too much barbecue and bad fats all his life. And so his blood vessels are lined with bad fats that then become calcified, and they make his blood vessels brittle, and he can't pump the blood where he needs it. It might be to his brain during work, his stomach after lunch, and his genitals during lovemaking. If he can't move the blood around, if his vasodilation is impacted, the first place your body says, I need to protect the heart and the brain, you're not going to get anything down below the belt. So as soon as he begins to exhibit loss of size, as soon as he sees that he's not as large as he was in his youth, as soon as he sees any trouble achieving or maintaining an erection, if he goes soft or he can't quite get as hard as he used to, that's most likely the blood vessel issue, the atherosclerosis. And the treatment that I recommend, and this is a treatment you go get done, is Gainswave, which is a sound healing that actually blasts the plaque off the penile arteries and stimulates new tissue growth. I like to stack it, because we're biohacking. I like to stack it with P shots, which is the man's equivalent of the O shot, is the P shot, PRP, into the penile tissue to stimulate new growth. It increases and regains sensitivity. It regains erectile function, and it restores tissue. But there's a third piece to the stack that I think is not only vital, but if we're talking about a guy who can't afford to go get Gainswave treatments and a P shot, I call this the poor man's Gainswave P shot, and that is a vacuum erection device. And a vacuum erection device, this is a unit that has a handheld little pump, and it attaches to cylinders. And so depending on the man's size, he gets a cylinder, and they go up quite large. The particular product that I like is called the Whopper. It's the only one I recommend because it has this extra large cylinder. So this wraps around his penis, and the penis goes in here, and he pumps the pump, and
I was wrong. This is the part of the show where I get embarrassed, but but it really does pull the blood in, and it can fix the problem. To your point, this is another way of doing it without doing the Gainswave.
Yeah, well, I like it with the Gainswave. If best of all worlds, Gainswave, P-shot, Whopper. But what's nice about this is the penis and the testicles go into this larger one. That's why it's so big. And this lengthens, this restores length, and this restores girth. And what happens is if you have severe erectile dysfunction and you can't, the most common type of erectile dysfunction is called a venous leak. And that's where you can get the blood in, but you can't trap it in. Your blood vessels are so brittle that they're supposed to trap the blood in to hold the erection, but they can't do it anymore.
Okay.
And so what you can do with a penis pump while you're repairing the damage with the pumping, every other day you pump for 10 minutes, take a break, 10 minutes, and you're done. So my husband pumps while I use my VFit. I mean, we're not embarrassed at all to be together. We'll watch TV and he'll pump. It's good to maintain your erectile function into your 90s.
Yeah, I just had a visual there, right? It's
I know, isn't it so funny?
My wife and I doing this anyway, so hence the laughter. Okay.
This is a constriction ring. So if you have severe erectile dysfunction, you can pull the blood in with your pump, and then you can trap the blood in with this ring, and it doesn't crush the corpus cavernosum. This is called a Giddy, Giddy, getmegiddy.com. And this is the little rubber band that's adjustable. And then that holds all the blood in the penis for a half hour. You can make love, and then you can let it off, and the blood will run back out. So the penis pump is good for intractable erectile dysfunction, as well as for simple reversal of early onset ED. Any man who's taking Viagra to achieve and maintain an erection could get rid of the pharmaceutical by taking a nitric oxide supplement and using a penis pump for 13 weeks.
Hmm.
I mean, if you know, it's the difference between letting your body, supporting your body and growing new tissue and healing, versus just covering up the systemic issue of
Mm.
atherosclerosis with a pill.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, these are real solutions. And these are big problems, right? That people
Everybody has them.
really have no answer to. There's a new device called a TRT, a tissue regenerative therapy, that actually that they use it to basically wounds that won't heal for diabetics. They use it for actually shoulders, knees, pains in the body, necks, but they're using it now. Some of the top in the world are using this device like the Gainswave for these dysfunctions that we're discussing. So TRT, did I do a show? I think I did a show on that, and we talked about it, so we can Ashley can add that show as well.
Great.
Wow. I mean, okay, so
I got a couple other quick ones to show you if you're still
yeah,
good with show and
let's
tell.
do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the other piece of it is that I really want to just quickly take a quick pit stop into the prostate. It's very, very important that you don't want to become or have your husband become a guy that gets up 5 times at night to pee. He stands there. He's got a tiny little stream. He can't really get a full force pee going. He can't drive more than an hour because he's afraid he'll pee his pants. You know, I mean, it can get bad. He'll have prostate issues. He might have a prostatectomy. So the most important thing that a man can do, just as I recommended to the woman to do internal stimulation of the vaginal tissue. My little penis pumps are making noise there. Man can also stimulate internally the prostate, which is the male G spot. It's called the P spot. And there are battery operated massagers, so you can get a vibration along with the stimulation. There's all different kinds of them. There's remote control ones, etc. And as women, I think it's important for us to encourage our men to self-care in these areas, because I always feel like I'm Dr. Mom. I think a lot of women do. A lot of men would be embarrassed or shy to put attention on their prostate, but prostate massage is besides diet and exercise, which are always our fundamentals here with Dr. Pompa, of course, is just take the embarrassment out of it and put the encouragement for sexual self-care into your household, because nobody knows what you guys do at home, and you're going to live long and happy and have a fabulous intimate life with really good health with the simplest of $20 tools. You know, I mean, once you do it 3 times, you start doing it in front of each other, it's no big thing, and you're just taking care of business. So there are a lot of things that can be done.
Literally.
Exactly. Now, there's 2 more things I want to show you in the masculine sphere that I think are quite interesting. And these are pleasure toys that help for men who are having erectile dysfunction issues. This particular one is by Hot Octopus, and this is called the Solo, I think it's called. Their names I never remember, but you can go to hotoctopus with 2 S's.com. There's a plate inside here that the penis rests in, and it doesn't have to be fully erect, and it pleasures the frenulum, which is essentially the male clitoral area, if you will, at the end of his penis, and that's pleasure for him. But he can wear it this way, and this part also vibrates. And so you can kind of have a missionary style kissing intimate experience, even if he isn't able to completely penetrate, where she's getting this vibrator and he's getting this floating plate of pleasure. And she's got a little controller that she can operate this pleasure dome right here.
That could be good or bad. I don't know.
Right? So you can have the closeness that you want without being fully functional. This is another very interesting product. And this one is, there's a vibrator here, there's a vibrator here, and this traps the blood in. So his penis comes out here, and this is for her, and this is perineal stimulation, P-spot, for him. So, you know, one of the things, I do a lot of primary market research because I have a very large following who love to take my surveys, and I love to ask them questions. And I recently did a survey. I sent it out once, and I got over 3,000 responses from couples and singles, about half couples, half singles, about slightly more men than women, but not much, pretty equal. And I said, what are the things you're the worst at in the bedroom from this list? And in the top 3 for both men and women was, and by the way, I offer gender neutral options in my surveys as well. There aren't that many takers of that, but I do believe that everything should be supported across the gender spectrum. And both the males and the females said, I really stink at using sex toys during lovemaking. And I thought, there's so many good toys out there. And it's really just about getting over your embarrassment, knowing which toys to choose, finding ones that are right for you, doing experimentation. One of the things that fixes the monotony of monogamous intimacy is doing new things together. And in the 21st century, the year 2020, where we are right now, with companies like Hot Octopus, Fun Factory, and this one is by Mystery Vibe. This is a Tenuto, Tenuto by Mystery Vibe, this one. With the world having these products, why not try them? Have some fun, laugh a little, get good at things, feel some new feels, you know, there's just a lot of really, really great things that you can do to have more fun in the bedroom. And when you start with a low libido, having that little extra help from a nice pleasure toy ain't the worst thing in the world. So,
hey, that's right. And like you said, hey, you know, it may not be your hormones. It may be, you know,
boredom.
that, you know, no, but I mean, again, I mean, you brought up so many things, you know, from blood flow, you know, just, I don't want to call it normal aging because to me it's abnormal aging, but yet common with aging, probably a better way to put it, which happens. And you have answers. You know, a lot of these things are answers, you know, even in the actual act of intercourse, they're part of the answer. So,
yeah.
I mean, interesting stuff, unique answers. I told you this show would be full of things you may have heard of, but plenty that you have not. And you never cease to amaze me. You always pull these new things. I'm like, oh gosh, you know, I feel like such a child. Like I don't know these things. I thank God I have you as our sexpert that comes on and educates us. You know, but I mean, honestly, I mean, obviously this show would benefit anybody, right? But you know, I mean, my followers are really people, you know, health seekers that are really. But this is, you know, this is a big deal. I mean, you have to enter into this with your, you know, with your partner, your spouse, and starting with conversation. Would you agree? I mean, because I know what people are thinking. I always try to think like my viewers. Oh my gosh, I would love to do this with my wife, or I'd love to do this with my husband, but they're afraid to broach the conversation. Do you have suggestions for them?
Yeah. So one day I sent out an email to my followers and I said, because I have a newsletter, and I sent out an email and I said, tell me the reason, what's the obstacle that's preventing you from having the intimacy that you crave? And all answers are accepted, except I don't have a partner. This is not about dating. This is not about partners. This is for people who have a partner or who don't have a partner, but it's not the fact that they don't have the partner. That's the issue.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And as hundreds of responses came in, I thought, I can fix that. I could fix that. I could fix that. I could fix. And then I thought, I can't help every single person individually. What can I do? And I put together a process of conversation that I call the magic pill method, because I thought to myself, if I could give everybody a magic pill to fix their problem, what would it be? It would be this communication strategy, which is, and it's at magicpillmethod.com. So I can't go into all the details here, but you can print it out at home, discuss it with your partner, and try this technique together. But essentially what it does is it has you make a list of all the things that you used to do that you don't do anymore, that you like and you missed. And then you make another list that is all the things you could possibly still do that are in the intimate connection category. And then you eat a really good meal and you have lots of hydration and you sit on that couch together and you hold hands and you discuss your list of what you used to do that you miss, and your partner has their list. And then you talk about the things you could do and the things they could do. And then you talk about what is holding you back physically or emotionally from doing those things that you both like on each other's list. And then you decide, what are you going to do to fix that thing? If it's lack of erectile function, go get a Gainswave treatment. If you have pain with intercourse, get a V-fit. Like now that you are aware, once you pinpoint what the actual issue is, instead, because what happens with couples is they hit a wall and they don't talk about it and their sex life goes away over something solvable. They just didn't know what the solution was because they didn't really know what the problem was. Yeah. And often the problem seems like it's this big general thing when it's not. It's actually one little thing with a solution. So what that does is that says we're going to compromise because we maybe can't do what we used to do, but we sure have some fun things we can still do together. And then you're back to connection, hand holding, intimacy, feeling good, generating oxytocin, and all those things that everybody wants and deserves. So that's my solution for how do you talk about what you want, is the magic pill method that diffuses the blame game and the shame game.
Well, and probably the easy way to get there is share the show with them, make them watch the show with you, right? I mean, that's the whole, that breaks the conversation and breaks you right into that answer. That's a great advice there. So where can people find out more, and what do you want to, where do you want to lead our viewers?
Well, I think what I want to do is, we didn't get much time to talk about the supplements, and I think I would like to just briefly tell you about that.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Take a few minutes. You mentioned it a little bit, and I didn't know you had other little things there to show. So go ahead and show them.
What I want to do is I researched libido for a number of years, and I researched every botanical and every piece of peer-reviewed medical science, clinical data, as well as all of the ancestral wisdom around botanicals for libido. And what I realized is that there are there's 5 plant products, botanicals, that help you feel more desire, more libido, more sexual health. And often they operate on supportive hormones, blood flow, but they also have some elusive components to them. And what I found is that for our ancestors over the eons always wanted to feel more desire. It's not a modern day thing due to our stress over social media and the political climate and the pandemic and the race riots and all the crazy stuff that's happening now. It's actually that we've always craved feeling more desire. And we have, because it is what I started out this conversation saying, which is, it is the fuel of our creativity. It's our passion for life, our lust for life. So when the more you feel turned on, you're turned on for life. So there's 5 libido botanicals. The first one is maca. Eat some sugar-free chocolate every day, and you will have your maca, your cacao. I'm sorry, your cacao. Chocolate is your cacao. The second is maca, which is a Peruvian root vegetable that is very good for feeling that zest. It's a zesty botanical, and maca is great. Now, both of them you need about 1 gram to 3 grams of, a fair amount of material. So it's not the kind of thing that you'd want to put into a capsule and take as a supplement. You want to put maca in your smoothie, and you want to have a nice piece of dark chocolate, a square of dark chocolate every day, and you're good to go. The other 3 that are good for supplementation are fenugreek, which comes from the Ayurvedic world, Tongkat Ali or long jack, which comes from the Southeast Asian traditional Chinese medicine world. And then the third is Tribulus terrestris, which is your Mediterranean botanical. So they offer very similar properties. They work for male and female bodied people, but I don't recommend stacking them. This is where stacks can be overwhelming, especially if you're in delicate health. And that's why you only want 300 milligrams of one of the 3. So what I did was, and here's the thing, I said, okay, I could make this, Tongkat Ali 300 milligram supplement and make sure it's got the saponins and it's the right extracts and it's good product and it's organic and all those things. But most people aren't even taking their daily vitamins. Now, on your show, they might be, but the average bear, He's probably not even getting enough boron to decouple his testosterone from the protein. He's probably not getting enough vitamin D to produce the hormones that he's
Magnesium's a
making.
player as well.
Magnesium, the selenium. I mean, you know, you need to have your basic fundamental micronutrients and minerals for all of the product, you know, all of the production of things that your body needs to give you a libido. So what I did was I made a multivitamin, multi-mineral with a beautiful mineral profile that's all methylated Bs, methylcobalamin, 5-MTHF for your B9, et cetera, and TMG, the betaine in it, so that your body doesn't even have to work any effort at all to methylate the vitamins. They just get bioavailably absorbed in.
Yeah, it's
so
better.
I made a vitamin mineral, and I put one of them has the tribulus, one has the fenugreek, and one has the long jack. And that's where I came up with you herb cycle. It's always the same vitamin and minerals because you need that every day. But then you go from boost to drive to desire, or whichever one you want to do.
And by the way, cycling herbs actually works better. It's a principle that I teach because the body adapts. So you break that adaptation with a new cycle. It's brilliant, Susan. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. And then here's where the stack comes in. So these you don't stack. You don't want to take 3 times the vitamins you need every day. You want to cycle through the botanicals and always get your vitamin and mineral. But this is where the stack comes in, and this is flow. And when I looked at what really makes you feel good, for men, it's having a firm erection makes them turned on. For women, it's feeling some arousal and vaginal lubrication. And that's a signal to us that even though how lubricated we are has no connection to how turned on we are, we women like to feel lubricated to feel our desire. And when we age, by the time we're 50, we have half the nitric oxide production ability that we did when we were 20. We literally can't pump the blood around like we used to. So a lot of people take a nitric oxide supplement to support their cardiovascular health, to reduce neuroinflammation, to improve their hormone profile. There's lots of reasons people take it. Pretty much the people who follow me take my brand because it gives you better hard-ons and more vaginal lubrication and increased orgasmic intensity because you're getting the blood flow to your pelvis that's gone missing as you age. So it gives you all the other benefits of nitric oxide. And the thing is, I looked around in the market because I am happy. As you can see, I talk about a lot of brands. I don't need to make everything. Trust me.
Yeah.
If somebody has a great product out there, I would much rather they do their thing and I just tell my friends about it, my followers about it. But I looked for an organic nitric oxide product made for people in middle age who want more blood flow. And really, there's only people who have heart conditions or people who are young people who are trying to bulk up their biceps in the marketplace. And they weren't organic. And I am an organic girl. And I also realized that a lot of the blood flow supplements are made with arginine, which by the time you're over 40, the arginine pathway in your body is dysfunctional.
Yeah, citrulline is better.
And my product is made out of organic watermelon rinds, and the citrulline comes from organic watermelon rinds. And then I put nitrates in it because that's a separate pathway that your body can use from organic spinach. The vitamin C is from organic acerola cherries, the bitter cherries that helps actually absorb all of the watermelon and spinach. And then I put NAC in it and acetylcysteine, which is kind of like a PDE5 inhibitor. It slows the combustion down. So you get better blood flow longer from the nitric oxide supplement.
Awesome.
And women tell me, I am moist. I've taken this for like 10 days and I'm moist for the first time in 10 years. Like, this is amazing. And men say, some men still have to take their PDE5 inhibitors, their Viagra, Levitra, Cialis, because they still can't produce enough of their own, or they've got atherosclerosis or what have you. But any guy, a lot of the younger guys who are taking Viagra, they don't even need to take that. They can just take a nitric oxide, organic nitric oxide supplement, and they get all the blood flow they need. So it either helps with your PDE5 or it helps you get rid of having to take a PDE5 inhibitor. And it helps all the other functions too. Yeah. So if I was going to say anything for anybody, what's the number one supplement you should take to improve your libido? I would say take a nitric oxide supplement, mine or somebody else's. I like organic. And then look at Libido Botanicals after that, because really the blood flow is more important than anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do we have a link for those? Do we have an affiliate account they can order them directly through you if we put the links up?
Most definitely.
All right, cool. Well, that's what we do, because I know people are going, okay, I want that.
Yeah.
So including, hey, I want to try them myself. So,
Yeah, I'll send them to you. I'll send them to you and Marilee. No problem at all.
Absolutely.
And to Ash.
I'm a believer, in those products you mentioned, actually, all of them, and the way you're doing them. So passes the mustard for me. But yeah, thank you for that. And we'll put the links right here to make it easy on you watching the show. And any other links? Well, we mentioned a lot, so we're going to put all those links here. So Ashley's going to be very busy putting the links. But Susan, thank you so much. I mean, I'm telling you, the wealth of knowledge in this area. That's why you're our sex experts that we bring on the show, because you always have amazing answers. I knew you would for the subject of libido. Complicated topic, but I think you hit it at every possible angle of causation. I think you really have. And I know that people are going to share this show because there's that many little, goodies in there. And the first person you better share it with is your partner. So
yeah,
step one. But thank you again. And I'm sure we're going to have you on in the future. You have so much to offer on so many topics, and thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Pompa. And thank you as a health seeker who is also standing for your sexuality. It means a lot to me that you're still watching or listening to Dr. Dan and I talk about this. So I wish you much love, much connection, and much healthy success.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Thank you, Susan. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it for this week. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. This episode was brought to you by Cyto Detox. Please check it out at buycytonow.com. We'll be back next week and every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. We truly appreciate your support. You can always find us at cellularhealing.tv, and please remember to spread the love by liking, subscribing, giving an iTunes review, and sharing the show with anyone you think may benefit from the information heard here. And as always, thanks for listening.